Level 5 and the last one, I call it disruption. You see, blue sky is not a permanent residence. Unless something is done, you are likely to go back to the gray area. Why? Because there are some players who are going to emerge from the gray sky and others will rocket straight from ground level and come right where you are and make the area murky. Unless you continuously reinvent yourself, recreate yourself, you're going to find yourself going back to the gray sky. You disrupt yourself when you're in this level we call plateau. How do you know you're plateaued? You know you've plateaued if, number one, there are no new ideas you're bringing in the market. There's no creativity, there's no innovation, there's nothing new you're suggesting to us. I don't think I've tried to live the last 7 years without introducing a new concept every single year. And that's why this year we introduced Dr. Kinyanjui Nganga Speakers Award. When we tried 2 years ago to introduce the cruises, a lot of people were very skeptical because they're expensive. Truth be told, flying out is expensive. And of course, what happens with time, people start warming up to you. Today, we have a partnership with YouTube and Amazon. And this is the thing I'm asking you. If there's nothing new you're bringing, then definitely you plateaued. Secondly, if you're fearing change, you're now the monster that wants to maintain the status quo, you plateaued. You need to disrupt yourself. Thirdly, if everything is under control, you have no bank loan. By the way, for those of you who have zero loans, you have plateaued. You have reached a place of comfort. And you shouldn't be doing that before you're 70. You should always be growing to the next level. You see, your current safe boundaries were once unknown frontiers. I encourage you to dare go to the open pride lines and deal with the new dangers. But don't stay in a shop where everything is under control. If it's under control, that's the time to branch out. Scale up. You're doing maintenance if everything is totally under control. If you're in this meeting and you're so comfortable because there's nothing that is going astray, you're the person I'm describing. But if you're on your toes to deal with many realities after this, then we are talking business. So if you think you're the only one with issues, you're in the right club. You're in the club of growth. You'd rather even do something weird, like changing a car, just to challenge yourself. Changing your home, but just change something. You know, there are people when they get a home somewhere in Kayole, they will die there. Sasa walifika, walipata nyumba. Disrupt, sell it, or give it to your grandmother. But do something to disrupt yourself. Number 4, if you begin to focus on yesterday, if what you did yesterday is too big for you, you are singing about your achievements of April and December last year, then you've plateaued. You must be occupied with the vision, with the future. Remember, the Bible only allows old men to dream dreams. Young men and women are supposed to see visions. Vision is forward-looking. If you're always dreaming, you are too old. You should be focusing on tomorrow, not what you achieved yesterday, because what you achieved is no longer a challenge for you. If it's too big for you, you've plateaued. Finally, number 5, if there are new entrants into your space, you plateaued. If there are new sheriffs, you find new players who have the same magnitude, the same influence, just like you, then you plateaued. You see, since the industrial age, for many years, companies made profits by controlling the entire value chain, and they were rewarded for economies of scale. The internet economy disrupted that power dynamic. Today, if you're going to go anywhere, mark this one word: speed. It's no longer controlling the value chain. It's no longer about economies of scale. It's speed. One day, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and Larry Ellison, the founder of Oracle, were having a cup of tea together in a meeting where the consultant was Brian Tracy. And over tea time, Brian Tracy asked them the secret of building such vast business empires. What's your secret? Without a second thought, they unanimously said one word: focus. He asked them the second thing, and they said one word: speed. Speed of implementation, thinking on the feet. If you've been listening to me for a considerable time, you know I like saying you'd rather be a hot mess in action than a perfectly organized coward. Because whenever you are a mess, people will come and bring some order. There was a mess in Genesis 1:1. and God spoke order into it. You'd rather be a mess, but you're moving. So when new entrants come in, they are telling you you've plateaued. At this particular point in time, I suggest strongly disrupt yourself. Kill the sacred cow. Borrow a leaf from the philosophy of Facebook of innovation. This is what Mark Zuckerberg has declared for Facebook. If we don't invent the one who is going to kill Facebook, someone else will. We must be the people who are going to invent what is going to kill Facebook. What's that? Disruption. Let me ask you whether this is familiar. Let me just show you some major disruptions and tell me whether this is familiar. Let's check. How many use dictionaries these days? What do you use? Mr. Google, correct? Would you remember something called Encyclopedia Britannica? After 244 years, they caved into Wikipedia. Amazon.com now is challenging publishers. Can I ask you a question before I continue? Which is the largest bank in Kenya? Talk to me. Equity, another one? KCB. And I agree. Equity is the largest by numbers, KCB by asset, but the truth is, she got it. M-Pesa is the largest bank in Kenya. It's not a question of your branches or your people. It's the bottom line. So here it is. And you see, the argument we had with the CBK, with the central bank, is whether these guys should be regulated. And they realized they were too big to argue with them. So we'd rather join them. Can you imagine? 15 billion transacted every day, 42% of our GDP pushed through M-Pesa. Kodak. If you grew up in my village, there used to be a camera guy who used to come on Christmas. And he used to give us the pictures in April. And he's the only guy who had a nice bicycle. You remember? Then you're from my village. And this was one of the top 5 brands on the planet. Today, digital photography has kicked away film. Look at this. Now, I saw some guys who've been selling this thing for the last 2-3 years, and I say this is a very powerful concept for the 1990s. Unless they have another agenda besides business, I'm sympathizing with People's Daily. Because by the time they publish, it's already history. By the time they give us the news 9 o'clock, it's already history. You've already seen it. This is an idea of our grandfathers. Now, this was for CEOs. Can you remember this? The BlackBerry. The who is who in the country. The BlackBerry. And they were convinced that you always need a keypad for a phone until they were kicked away by Apple. Steve Jobs showed them the door. By the way, the BlackBerry right now is as good as dead. I regret to tell you the story of redundancy will never be mentioned in Kenya without transacting this business. What about? We will never discuss about obsoleteness. If you exist for these examples. You know, I tried to escape this story. I can't. They were busy putting telephone posts when the world had moved mobile phone. They had the advantage of the infrastructure. By the way, to date, Safaricom doesn't even have buildings. Telcom had all these buildings. They had the advantage of the goodwill, the government support. And that might happen to Bible translation, Bible Society of Kenya, because today we have softwares for translations that are doing it in real time. If they don't rethink it, it will become a museum. Personally, I've used this facility in Washington, D.C. And I can tell you, they are giving a challenge to traditional hotels. You agree with me? You're going out, say for 3 weeks, and you leave your house, you're better off with someone there rather than hiring somebody you're paying to take care of your security. And the fellow who is coming is actually even paying you as you go on holiday. Then you go pay the other one, the other side. DJs are on their way out because softwares are mixing the music. If your child is following this career, tell them to think of how they can re-innovate it. As it is, this is a very challenged career. Now, I don't know whether you can remember the old-time tapes for videos. And I don't think they exist. Our kids may not even know what that is all about. And this thing has even challenged TV. LinkedIn is kicking away HR organizations. Those of you who are in HR, unless you digitalize it, then people have both employers and employees have a platform where they can exchange contacts faster. And they eliminate the cost of these brokers. And the good thing with this, there's no corruption. Can you imagine people who are still buying cars to do taxi business in Kenya? We have cleaner cars, more professional drivers. And the owner of Uber doesn't own even a single car. These are very smart boys. This is a business today. If you're honestly believing that you're going to buy taxis for business, you need to rethink again because you're in history. We also need to rethink whether we should be teaching you right here. We need to find out whether there's a way I can be teaching you from home. And we've been discussing about it. By the way, we've tried this 3 times. And once this works, we're still trying to get the right equipment. Maybe you don't need to come and park here. We're already doing it. We have already rolled out over 10 programs, e-learning, that are in the mass market. And a lot of organizations have also signed up for them. We're already doing this. But we still think we can do the same training you're listening right here from the comfort of your home as you fix dinner. Correct?